Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update on Monday, July 23rd at 11:35 p.m. Mountain Time 2018. You're looking at the morning shots of today's Lay's plume and the current flyby. Now from to this boat here, but the emissions, as far as fissure 8 is concerned, have not stopped in intensity. This fissure is erupting in epic fashion, and you can see it just this morning. The amount of lays is just as much as ever. Now, this morning we had a downdrop explosion, a caldera collapse seismic event, which is not a volcanic explosion, which they say at the USGS. Nothing happened at the caldera. In fact, it was just a collapse event. In fact, the largest collapse event since the beginning of this eruptive activity over 3 months ago. Now, historically, we're going to get to it at the end of the video, historic eruptions of this scale have lasted for over 200 days. And nothing of this scale and magnitude of magma extrusion has ever occurred in recent history, and we'll be talking about that. Welcome to the uptick in volcanic activity and the new life that you're living in the grand solar minimum. Thunderstorms pelt southern Colorado with hail and flooding rain. Take a look at this waterway, which must have been a road. Colorado Springs, severe thunderstorms rolled across the Front Range Monday afternoon, bringing torrential rain, hail, and flash flooding. A flash flood warning was issued for El Paso, including Colorado Springs, Manitou, and other counties, and it wasn't just flooding you had to worry about. Totally fluxed. The hail coming down hard in Manitou, evacuating low-lying areas due to flooding. This is live blog. US 24 reopened. Another roads closed after storm floods Colorado Springs area. Look at this guy shoveling stuff, and she's shoveling as well. This is hail. Holy hell. I wonder if this will run. Flash floods and severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings kicked off a week of wet weather expected. This is this morning, the aftermath. Whew. Oh my. Yes, it's the middle of summer and they're still shoveling. Flash flood and severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings kicked off a week of wet weather expected in Colorado Springs. And it was epic. I don't think they expected that. What do you guys think? Did they expect that? Man, we're going real slow. National Weather Service, western heat wave, excessive rain likely in the east. Excessive heat warning and heat advisory stretch from the desert southwest through California all the way up to the Pacific Northwest, impacting several metro areas including Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Portland, San Diego, and Seattle. Heads up, Willie. Many of you are saying, who's Willie? U.S. South sizzles as temperatures near 120 degrees. Heads up, Phoenix. Temperatures approach 120 in parts of the U.S. Southwest on Monday. Boom. That's true. Forecasters said this week could bring the region's hottest weather of the year. There was a record broken today. One record in Phoenix. 115 broke the previous daily record of 114. So not a lot of records being broken, but they're talking about it as if we're all burning up. Here are the facts. El Nino predictions show we might be back on track for a wet, snowy winter in Phoenix. Heads up. It's true. After a year's bone dry winter, we had the second driest winter since recorded history, which goes back to 1900 here. After last year's bone dry winter, Arizonans could get some of much needed relief with a strong El Nino pattern this winter. And a new report says that the pattern is more likely than not. 70% chance that we're going to get a dump. And if you add into our models this information from the mainstream, grand solar minimum much. You are here. We're headed into the deepest solar minimum in over 100 years. We're about to be talking about record flooding that happened back on cycle 14, 12, and 11. And the reason we're going to be talking about that, if you can see the amplitude, of these cycles, it is matching 24 and 25, which we're going into. So these events are going to continue and get worse, and epic snows predicted for this region in the desert Southwest this winter. Get your plows on. Crazy weather in Europe, from boiling hot to giant hailstones. Same thing happening there is happening in Manitou Springs. People in some parts of Germany were scratching their heads, wondering what's going on with the weather. After days of very high temperatures, which have hit records in some parts of Europe, there were hailstorms, flash floods, and tornadoes. Grand solar minimum much? On Sunday, Germany recorded its highest ever temperature in the Klitzingen, where it reached the 40.3 C. Yes, it's true. While in the UK recorded the hottest weather in 8 years, with the thermometer getting the hottest in 8 years to 34 C. France was boiling as it was being buried in hail. Let's check the video. Yes, Hollande de Griel dans des Dura in El Plio de Mou Juliette. That means they got a shit ton of hail in Juliette, in English. Yes, and this guy's hand is in the way. So while France is burning up, they're cooling off by plowing the hail. I don't think I'd really call that a heat wave. It would probably be pretty cool in that area. Don't you guys think? That's what I think. Yeah, I think hail's pretty cool. It needs to be below 32 to be ice, doesn't it? When was this? Oh, 2 days ago in France. Heads up. Now, this is a paper coming out about your global warming. Ben Davidson shared it this morning. Comparing modeled to observed trends over the past 60 years using a persistence robust variance estimator shows that all models, let me repeat that, all models, showing all models warm more rapidly than observations. Let's go back. Comparing modeled to observed trends over the past 60 years using a persistence robust variance estimator shows that all models warm more rapidly than observations. That means they're shite. And in the majority of individual cases, the discrepancy is statistically significant. Again, that means they're shite. We argue that this provides informative evidence against the major hypothesis, Al Gore, in most current climate models. And that is a boom. Just coming out this month, global warming is a complete sham, statistically, total nonsense, and Al Gore is still hiding. Boom. I love science. Thank you, American Geophysical Union 100. At least 5 dead, 728,000 affected as monsoon rains totally fluxed the Philippines. ¿Cuál es tu pinche pueblo? I'll tell you what the pueblo is. Too much rain. Thank you, Svensmark, for picking up what we're putting down and telling the public what's happening with these people up to their armpits in cosmic ray flux. Heavy monsoon rains affecting the Philippines over the past 7 days claimed lives of 5 people and affected more than 700,000, officials said Sunday, July 22nd, 2018. Tropical depression Josie and the Pussycats approached the country on July 21st. 2 previous storms, Inde and Henry, known internationally as Ampul and Sontin, enhanced. That is totally insane. There is a different competing naming groups. Can you disinform the public any further? The floods affecting 585 villages totally fluxed 7 regions. Whew, finally, some facts. They're up to their armpits in the cosmic rays. And that's a boom. Whew. Why is the screen always right? Here is one of the storms that has multiple names called Ampil, making landfall near Shanghai. The reason I'm sharing this is because I love to say Shanghai. China. Look at it. Now, severe tropical storm Ampil, the 10th named storm in the 2018 Pacific typhoon season, slammed into eastern China just moments ago and passed very close to Shanghai, China's biggest city and a global financial hub about to explode with a population of 24 million that will begin to eat its children. 100,000 people visit Mount Ruapehu. And you know what that means? Record snow, Al. Europe, liar. Yes, it's true. Hundreds of thousands of families frolicked in the snow and sledded on the slopes of one of the highest, deepest snow-covered realms in the entire southern hemisphere. This guy was laughing because he forgot to shave last month. His teeth are a bit crooked, but he's a fine lad. And here we can see the gondolas. It's glorious. Whew, almost like it's 3D and not even real. This is real. What the hell is this video about? Absolutely nothing. I'll never know. But we watch it. This guy's got a box and he's moving. And that guy's checking. Oh, that's the picture I was looking for. Look at these families. They are frolicking in the white global warming heaven. Yes, apparently this is a new game called Stare at the Snow Pile while you go hands down and stare at the snow. We used to sled, but apparently this is a new thing. So, whatever. Do it. Yes, it's awesome. Now, apparently these people have never seen snow before because of global warming, and they're really looking at it as if it's not even real. Whew. I have no idea what they're doing. Seismic update. There is something red up here that's completely out of place. 3.7 Whitehall, Montana. Now, in the next 24 hours, all the YouTube channels are going to explode saying Yellowstone's going to erupt and fearmonger and bloom and bam! Phew. Unfortunately, all of those people that are going to be making those videos are absolutely wasting their breath. This is absolutely normal activity up here in the Horst and Graben region of the Center Craton. Normal activity goes to 4.5 in the low 5 magnitude range. And as the Earth is expanding, as the magnetosphere wanes, we're going to see an uptick in 4 to 5 magnitude in this region that has nothing to do with Yellowstone. Let me have a drink of water. No other quakes of note. 5.1 in Kirul, Russia. We have normal activity in the Indonesia region. Mid-ocean ridges spreading at 5.9 in the central mid-Atlantic ridge. And we've had the largest collapse event in the Kilauea caldera in the last 90 days at 5.5. And that's because the caldera is expanding in size and volume. That gives you more linear surface area for larger landslide events. These are caldera collapse landslides that are clogging that giant hole with rubble. And as the lava gets squirted out of Fissure 8, the hole has more and more void to fill. It's in my prediction and estimation that this eruption is nowhere near finished. We're not even at the midway point. At a low estimate, at a conservative estimate, we're at the midway point, so this is going to continue to erupt into the winter. Yes. We are on a seismic watch for increased seismic activity for the next 24 hours until the coronal hole stream couples with Earth and the solar wind speed picks up. We'll be watching that closely. You can watch it too. Just Google KP index and keep your eyes on the prize. Worldwide volcano news update. Sakajurima erupted today. Sabancaya Aoba, which is Ambe, where the people have been experiencing the ash falls for months, sickening them and destroying their crops. Now Sabancaya has had sporadic puff emissions. Ambe has ongoing eruptions observed, and Sakotajima erupted. Let's go to the video. Hey, before we hit the video, Let's talk about Chris Martz. Christopher, the climate guy. IceAge2050, aka.com. Now, he has a currently erupting volcanoes map that you can come on and blow it up and move it around. And if you're on magic mushrooms, you'd be totally lost here. Because you can go and make like a million worlds right there. Look at that. That's like flat earth heaven. Whew. That's like 3 earths. Holy sh. Anyway, he's got lots of other good links up here. And we will make climate science great again. Isn't that right, Chris? If you don't believe me, you can believe him. He'll be on the radio show Wednesday night with Lee Wilbarger. If you have any questions for this kid, he's a great kid. You can learn all about him. He believes in God. I just learned. Click about, and you'll learn too. This is how websites work. There's buttons, and you push on them, and they usually go to a place that tells you where that button went. Now, Chris is famously known as IceAge2050, the climate guy, and apparently he has copyrighted his name. Way to go, Chris. He is a weather and climate hobbyist, but more importantly, he's a student in high school from Northern Virginia, where they are currently totally fluxed, and I'm about to show him some that's going to make him totally... Yes, I shouldn't be saying that. He's a young kid. Anyway, he wants to get his PhD in atmospheric science, and I can't help myself. I love this kid, and you should blow up his YouTube channel and this blog. Do it now. Whew. Sorry, Chris. I curse a lot, and your mother hates me. I know. Here's Sakurajima erupting. We're going to blow it up. Just like Chris Martz is going to blow up the radio program on Wednesday. Now look at Popo. There must be some shear winds here, but it's currently erupting, moving a little to the left. Yes. Ayoyama certainly is smoking slightly. Tortialba's black. Stromboli. God, I'm getting hungry. That's doing its normal thing. And here is just, why would you live there? Sinabung, about to go boom. And Sakurajima booming. Come check it out. Your Volcano YT puts us all together. I don't know how they do it. They must be spending as much time as I am. Whew, thank God I'm subscribed. I would never have the time to find them. Oh, we're back here. Yes, Big Island video news. This gives you a little bit of nice 3Ds. The animation, this is kind of sucky. It's close, but it's not very good. I could do it better on a napkin, but if you need a little guidance, come here, there'll be a link. Now we're about to end with a ton of science. Historical eruptions of Kilauea. You can look at the historical lava fields on this map. They will all pale in comparison to the one that we're currently experiencing. It is off the charts. Over 500,000 cubic meters in volume have been erupted already. 500,000. None of these get close. I just showed you one kind of close. Here's 176,000. 119. 25. 205. But we're over 500,000. Over 500,000 cubic meters. Gone. So we've broke all the records back to 1750. Into the Dalton Minimum on the East Rift. But you can see the East Rift was very active in the Dalton Minimum. It was also very active in the Dalton Minimum. And then again in the Centennial Minimum towards the end. When cosmic ray flux was high and solar activity was low. 1920s, solar minimum of 14. Kilauea was erupting. 1919. 25 million cubic tons of lava. So history repeats itself, and we have empirical data to corroborate it. Correlation is not causation, but what else is doing it? You idiots. Now let's talk about the flooding on the East Coast. It's a record. We're talking flooding events daily in the inches that are happening day after day after day after day. Now this soil here is torrentially saturated. Could you imagine if a tropical storm hit? I wonder if there's any historical information to corroborate that solar activity might be responsible for the flooding we're seeing in Baltimore and Washington, D.C., Chris. Are you listening, climate guy? The 1868 The Baltimore flood was one of the biggest flood events in Baltimore. This was underwater. They were boating in the streets. July 24th, that was tomorrow. The Jones Falls overflowed. The tide swept the flooding houses, horses, telegraph poles, bridges. It was a calamity, and more was swept away with the water. Devastating floods like those that have caused the havoc of the North Dakota and Minnesota are no strangers to the Maryland. As the great floods of 1936, 55, 72, and 85 are correlated by Diamond on the Oppenheimer Ranch Project with the sun before your very eyes, 1975, that's a solar minimum. Holy shit. Let's check out 1936. That's a solar minimum. Diamond must be smoking mescaline. 1868, could he be right? Holy sh! It's the solar minimum of cycle 10. Well, this bloke must be lucky. What about the flood of 55? Surely the flood of 55 has nothing to do with the sun. Holy shit! It is the minimum of cycle 18. There can be in no way a coincidence happening so many times. Well, indeed, maybe Diamond is right. Maybe the sun controls the flooding. Maybe the sun controls the cosmic rays that flux the clouds that flood the streets. Oh dear. Well, correlation is not causation. Nothing to see here. I would be shunned. How about the Johnstown flood? That wasn't in Washington. That was in Johnstown, PA. 1889. That has nothing to do with the sun. 1889. Oh, shit. That's the solar minimum of cycle 12. Exactly. 1889 is right there. So wonder if the Jamestown flood had to do something with the sun. That is like the sixth correlation tonight. This is uncanny. Let's look at other significant. Washington, D.C. flooding, the Great Flood of 1889, that's a solar minimum. The Great Potomac Flood of 36 is a solar minimum. 42, the record flood of 42, could it? Oh my God, it's a minimum. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's look at the stick. 36, 42, 72, 37, 85. That's not a solar minimum. 85. I got him. I got him on 85. Oh, it's the minimum of cycle 21. That's exactly in 1985. Well, this guy must be right. Holy shit. Global warming risk, rising temperatures from climate change linked to rise in suicides. They have nothing else left to blame global warming on. Maybe it's going to change your hair color. Maybe your pubic hair will fall off because of global warming. Hopefully, fat people will get thin and thin people will get fat. You'll never know. Will it whiten our teeth? Are teeths actually plural? Is this fake news? It's from USA Today. Of course it's fake. Did you know that 92% of Republicans think media intentionally reports fake news? And over 50% of Democrats? That's 70% of everybody, including independents. Now, how come 70% of everybody thinks that, well, knows that what we just read was total nonsense? And yet, we continue to hear about global warming. And the whole thing, the whole shinola going up, and I don't get it. Let's get to some more facts. Solar minimums may be the final piece of the puzzle in the fall of Western civilization. It's true. We've shown you the GSM-2 data. Civilizations end now. You better start preparing. Now, the new solar minimum could change the world economy, and it will. It's not a chance. The probability is very high. 99.999, fiat currency will fail. Famine and global unrest will unravel the fabric of society. And the sun is the source of light, heat, and well-being for our planet, and it's going to sleep. Boom. Yeah, that's a Mexican Coke, and it's delicious. Google Translate warns of apocalypse in bizarre end times message. Yes, Jesus is coming on Google Translate. Fears of an imminent apocalypse have been sparked by a mysterious warning from Google Translate. Oh, that must be God. The language translation app is telling users that we are approaching the end times. Whew, it must be happening. Holy shit, it's happening. I better open this on a new page. Boom! Oh my God, look at the size of it. It's definitely the apocalypse. Apocalypse now. Now, typing the word dog into Google Translate and translating from Yoruba, a West African language, to English spits out the same word, dog. There's nothing interesting there. But if you type dog 22 times in a row, and a sinister message will appear. Doomsday clock is 3 minutes at 12. It begins. We are experiencing characters and dramatic developments in the world which indicate that we are increasingly approaching the end times and Jesus' return. Boom. And guess what? It's total shite. Some D-bag put that into the software, and you idiots are buying it. Boom. But it's a good graphic, man. I mean, like, wow. Oh, yeah, Jesus is a meteor. There he is. He's like, look. Oh, wait, there he is. Is that the Virgin Mother? Oh, my God. Disaster warning. Are you prepared? Today is the first day of the rest of your life. And if you're new, how about Abundant Harvest Food Security Book PDF download? It's interactive. You can't buy the hardcover. This 100-page book links you to 1 million pages of cutting-edge food security information. Dramatically improved solutions for year-round local food production are included. Cultivation techniques are drawn from the most successful market farmers in the world, including Diamond and his neighbor and some other lady up the road who does onions. And these new insights from agricultural specialists will geometrically improve your crop yields. That's like 10 to the 23rd, which, remember that? This essential guide explains the enlightened biologically enhanced soil management practices some people call compost tea. Novel protected culture greenhouses and innovative planting, harvesting devices and procedures are the future of agriculture, and they're in the book. Don't pay $12.95. Add it to the cart. Yes. Check out. You're learning something. And when you get here, add the coupon. Do it. HARVEST space capital BOOM. And that's a apply the harvest boom. Whew. Are you ready? $9.97. You can buy it with PayPal or a card. If you don't do it, then you didn't learn anything. I bet you've seen this before. The time is now to start preparing for what's eventually going to happen in your lifetime, unless you die tomorrow. Be safe.